So which blueprint we are going to create first? You're probably asking yourself that question. And we need something to step on and test actually the game. So let's go and create the procedural level blueprint. And this will be a fun one. Go to the blueprint folder and create a blueprint class and select an actor. And now name it bp underscore procedural level. And I think this is the name that we're going to use. So let's open this one, and here we don't have anything. To start with the whole procedural level, I'm going to first create it in the construct script, and I'll explain you why. If I create it in the event graph, we are not going to see it here. It won't generate here, and it will generate only when we play the game. So for the sake of the tutorial, I'm actually going to create it here first, so you can actually visually see it in here, and we can test it a lot faster. So this is a tip I can give you. You can just create your prototype in the construction script, depending on what you're creating actually, but it should work most of the time in the construction script, unless you, for example, need a timeline, which as you see, there's no timeline. So in the beginning, we're going to use the construction script. So let's get into it. What we're going to create first, and you're probably asking where do I start, right? So the game has these cubes, platforms that you jump from one platform to another, and we're going to use this mesh here to create the platforms. And you're asking yourself, but this is just a cube, right? It's not a platform, it's a cube. And it's just this size, and you saw in the game different sizes. So we are going to create this project right now. And let's get started in here in the script, in the construct script. Just extend this thing. Second. So the first thing we need is just to spawn the cube itself into the world. And we can do this very easily with this nice node. You can type here add static mesh, and with this node you can add a static mesh to the world. And yeah, it's simple as that. Now here, if you select the static mesh, and here you can actually choose which one to actually spawn, and we're going to spawn this cube here. So just go to your content browser, select this one, and yeah, click this icon, and it will be assigned. And if we go to the viewport, now we spawned a cube. Usually when you see something here, you add it from components, but with this node here we can spawn a cube. And it will spawn in our level if we do it in the event graph. So now that we have this node and we have this cube spawned in the world, you are probably asking yourself, okay, we have the cube, but how are we going to spawn it like many times and have different sizes and different distance between all the cubes and spawn it indefinitely if we want to? And I'm here to answer that question. It's actually pretty easy. The first thing we need to do is right click and just start a for loop. And this little node here is very useful if you want to do something many times. And now here we have the first index and the last index. Basically from here you set how many times you're going to spawn something, and I'm going to put this to 1 because we don't want to start from 0, because all of the stuff that we need to be subtracted by 1 if we start by from 0, but we need to start from 1. So start from 1, and our last index, we actually need to create a variable, so just drag it and promote variable. We're going to name it levels, and it's good to make also a category. So go select the variable and just double click here, and let's name this category procedural level. And here we have our levels, and again this node here executes everything after it this many times from 1 to the thing that we assign. So let me demonstrate you what I mean by that. Here let's put levels to 2, for example, and next thing we're going to do, as you see this relative transform occasion, not occasion, sorry, just relative transform. If you right click on it and split struct spin, you are going to get the transform, the rotation, and the scale. And you're probably going to figure out sooner or later what I'm going to do here. Now that we have the transform of this cube, we now can actually change it. And first, let me show you with the occasion. But before that, before we change the occasion, actually let me show you. If I just if you select this cube, or if you add a cube here in the scene. So I added a cube so I can see the axis. So this is the x-axis. So there. Let's say we want to spawn the second cube on this axis, like here. We are going to use x. So what we need to do is change x, right, on the occasion, and if you type like 100. And now if you compile, you notice that the cube changed, but we don't have a second cube. Even though we selected our levels, it says 2, so it's going to spawn 2 things. It spawned only 1, and it moved our original cube. Well, that's actually not true. It actually spawned 2 cubes. However, they both have this location, so they're one over the other. How we can bypass that? Well, we can bypass that by literally just creating a variable for this transform, and we can put it in our procedural level group for now. So let's do that. If you select it here, why it doesn't let me change it? Let's just actually rename it first and do occasion cube, no, platform, or stepping platform occasion. For some reason, yeah, here, procedural level. So select it, and now it's in procedural level. Now now that we have this variable, we need to set it. So set the variable, connect it, and from here we're basically going to set the location of the first cube. So let me show you. We need these cubes. Yeah, you saw. you basically, I spoiled you with this. I actually did it before, but had to re-record it. So yeah, you saw what the result will be. And now we have this variable set. But if we get the variable, and now this we're going to get 0, 0, 0, right? And here we need to add. It's important to add. And if we split this struct pin, and like I said, we need to add to the x-axis. And if we add to the x-axis, I'm going to show you. Let's add 200. And now, let me just do, we need to connect it, obviously. Compile, and in the viewport, nothing happens. Why nothing happens? Let me see. That's the yes, of course, because we haven't connected it to relative transform location. So connected here, and now you have it. You have the 3 cubes. So why is that happening? The first time, as I explained, this loop goes from 1 to, in this case, 3. So you have 3 cubes. So it goes from 3 times through this, right? And the first time it goes, you have you set this platform location, which is connected and setting the mesh location, and you're setting this to be, you're taking already this, which is actually 0, 0, 0, 0 at 0, 0, 0 at the start, and then you you add 200. So the first time it will be 200, 0, 0. This is the first loop. Then it's going again, and you're setting it again. But because you are getting the previous stats here, you are going to multiply 200, 0, 0 with 200, 0, 0, and now you're going to have 400, 0, 0, and you're going to set the second cube. And the same with the third one, you're going to have 400 here, and multiplying it with 200, and it's going to be 600. So that's how we created, that's how we spawned 3 cubes with perfect distance of 200 units between them. But now you are probably asking yourself, okay, I spawned 3 cubes, they have distance between them, but I want random distance between them. How about that? It's pretty easy actually. If we get this X pin and type random float from range, in range, now this value here will be picked between these two values in randomly picked. So if we set this to be 100 and this to be 700, and just to visualize this better, let's make the levels, the amount of times it loops, to 10. And now every time it goes through the loop, it's going to pick a random X value from 100 to 700, and this way we're going to have random distances, as you see. So the minimum distance will be 200, probably this one here, and the maximum distance will be 700. I'm not sure if any of them has 700, but this one looks like a 700 distance, maybe not, but anyway, it's picking between these two numbers, a random number, and it's applying it to the X value. It's pretty easy, right? So how do we make it more we want to make it in a way that we want to modify it easier, not going to the construction script or whatever and go here and change it. So that's why we're going to create some variables. So if you go to promote a variable and call this location x minimum, and again here promote variable location x maximum, and we're going to create a category. It will be how do we name it? Let's say stepping platform location maybe, or random stats. That's a bit of a long name there. We're going to do the same with the scale, so I cannot maybe transform, but it's too late. So let's just bring this one here, and we can actually do this 3 times for the X, Y, and Z axis, and just connect it, and just create your variables. It's the same, like promote variable, change the variable to location Y, because here we use Y and we use minimum, and so on. I'm going to create them and get back to you. So I already created them, and now I'm going to assign the values that I have in the game. However, you can, I'm doing this so we can not have 1,000 hours tutorial. I'm just getting all my values from the game. I spent a lot of time testing and playing the game and testing again and again, and these are the values I came up with, but we don't have time for that. So first, for the local X minimum, we're going to set it for 1,400, and the max will be 2,000. And we can do that here. Also make sure all of them are in the correct category, so move them here. So we have location Y minimum, which is minus, it's a minus value. It's 1900, and the other one is just the same but not minus. And this is the as you see right now, this is the value that goes like this. So yeah, we now, as you can see, we have this thing here, and let me show you something cool. If you just press compile, you have different seeds, so every time is absolutely different. Isn't that cool? I found this really cool. Procedural things are really cool for me. So the Z amount is 100 on the minimum and 500 on the maximum, and yeah, now it goes up, slowly goes up, because the maximum is more than the minimum, and we have this. So let's do the scale, so we can, so it can actually look the same as my game. So go to relative transform scale, and again we're literally going to do the same thing. One is going here and the other is going here, and the scale, we're this scale here, I'm going to make it 0.5, and I will show you later, but delete this and again create the variables. I'm going to pause, create them, and get back to you. So now let's set them up. For the X minimum we have 4, and again just you can experiment and do your own, but I'm going to do it like this. You can actually first do it this way and then see the result, and after that you can experiment with your own and you can make something totally different. But for the sake of this tutorial, that it's going to be long, very long, I'm going to do this. So now we have this 0.5 as well, and if we go to the construction script, now we have the platforms. As you see, they're a lot thinner because I made it 0.5. And yeah, we have the platforms, and now we have our procedural blueprint level. Well, in the early stages, but yeah. So if I just drop it here, you will notice that if we play the game, yeah, we just drop, and I actually can play it from here. So right now, as you can see, it doesn't, like, yeah, obviously I don't have my abilities to jump and I forgot that. We need to fix that, so I need to be able to jump to the platforms, but as you see, they don't change. If I play the game, it stays the same, and this is because, as I said, this is in the construction script, and actually it won't change on every time we play the game. It will stay the same. The only way to change it is to compile the script, and as you see now, they're changed. So we need to test this. So I'm going to move this to the event graph. So let's move this to the event graph. So get all this, copy, paste, and we're going to need some of this later, but paste it here. And now we will have two of them, or maybe not. I think the event play actually overrides the other one. So now if I try to play the game from here, you will notice that, or maybe it doesn't. Let me check. Go disable the construction script, and yes, now you don't see it, and you see they're there, and if I play them again, they're here, and every time it's different. Every time you play the game, it's different. However, I play the game and I just drop. So let's fix this one. So let's open our procedural blueprint, and now how do we actually create a player start? Because we need to create a player start. Let me disable the begin play, enable the construction so I can show you here in the viewport. So every time I need to spawn in the first cube, even if they're different. Every time I need this location. So all I need to do is get the location of the first cube, the first platform, and spawn a player start, or how is it called? Player, does it matter? How is it called? I don't know. Player start, yeah, player start. So I need to place the player start here, and in the beginning I was like, should I add a player start here? And I tried that, and you can't, because you cannot add it from here. However, you can just spawn it, or but there's actually another method to do this, and the method I actually did it because I did try to do it with the player start, but there are some issues with it. So the best way is to actually get a location of this cube here, and then just move the character when you player start to this location. And this is as simple as it can get. We can just, let's enable this, disable construction script, and compile. But first thing, we actually need the location. So first we need to set the location, and we need to set it to the first one. So let's do first, let's create a location, and also let me put these guys here in the correct category. But let's create a location, duplicate, and I did this to make a vector. You can just actually let's just create another variable, call it player start location, and currently it's boolean, and we need a vector, and now we need to set it. So we're going to set it in here after we add the static mesh, because we need the location of the cube, and we cannot get it before we constructed before we add it. So we put this here and connect, and what we can do is get world location, and it's simple as that. Now we store the player location here. We store the cube location, not store, sorry, we get the cube location and we store that location as the player location. So next we need to move our character, and we actually need to do it here. Actually we can do it here, but for the sake of organization I'm going to do it here to show you something. So I cannot do it here. It will be I want it to be a bit down here because we need to add another thing, and for this is solely for organizational purposes. So let's summon a sequence, go here, and now from this sequence here all we need to do is change set world location, and yeah, it's going to actually sorry, not like that. Let's just first get the player character, player character, and with this player character we just need to set actor. We can do location, set actor location, and again we need player start location that we are setting here. I'm wondering if any of you are actually actually know the problems that are going to happen. But there will be problems, I promise you, and we are going to solve them. So it's simple as that, right? We have player character, we change the location of the player character, and we're done, right? We're done, but we are not done. There are a few problems. I got spawned, but first I got spawned at the end of it, not at the beginning. Second, probably you cannot tell, but our beginning, our end is closer to the sun. So if I get spawned and I'm closer to the sun, it's the end. So I got spawned near the end, and that's because we're going through every loop and setting this player start location every single time, and obviously the last loop is going to be our player start location, but we need it to be the first one. So it's also very simple to do. We need do once now, and as the note says, it does it only once. Once it does it, it won't trigger anymore until it's reset. However, I'm not going to reset it ever, so it's not going to do it ever. And if I play the game now, yep, I'm at the beginning, but I'm still falling, and that is why we need transform and not location. Set actor transform. Why do we need transform and not location? Well, actually, that's not the reason we need transform. I got ahead of myself. However, let's fix first the issue with dropping to the ground. We are dropping to the ground because we are spawning literally in the middle of the cube, and our collision not on top of the cube but on the middle, so we're just dropping. We are not stepping on anything, and this is very easy to fix. All we need to do is split this one, and we can either split this guy here and connect these two, and then add And here we can do 50 would be okay. So what we're doing is just adding 50 on the z-axis. In other words, we're spawning 50 units above our point. So 50 units above the center of the cube. And if we play the game here now, we are not, we're still getting spawned incorrectly. And I wonder why that is. It should be all good, right? We're spawning perfectly fine, and we're spawning incorrectly because we're not connecting. This is not connected to our new transformation location. So now finally we have spawned on the correct location. As you see, we spawned in the beginning and we spawned on top of the cube. So if I do like 500 here, I will spawn in the air and fall in the cube. So yeah, 50 is okay. So now you can play the game. You cannot jump because if you are jumping is very bad. And this is what we are going to fix next. We are going to make it so we can jump these cubes. That is the essential gameplay. So let's get into that. Hope you enjoyed this one, because I really enjoyed making it. I had a lot of fun. And if you like this video, please smash the like button. If you want to be notified when the part 3 comes out, please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to upload the whole series and all the parts, and I'm going to upload other tutorials as well. So if you're interested in learning more about Unreal and how to make games with Unreal, please subscribe to my channel. And thank you so much for staying to the end and watching this tutorial. If you have any suggestions and ideas, please comment below, and I will be very grateful if you do comment and give me some feedback. So again, thank you for watching, and I hope I see you in the next one.